Okay, so let's try number 1 then. This is exactly what the real exam will be like. Different numbers. So x times x to the minus 6. Everybody got an answer?
B.
All right, so what do we do with negative powers? What's the rule with negative powers? They jump. They jump and then become positive, right? They're negative, they're unhappy where they're at. Kind of like somebody that's unhappy in their job. They want to jump to a new job, right? So this is already over 1, so this guy's jumping down. So it'll become x over x to the positive, a regular 6. After it jumps, it becomes regular 6. So far, so good? We're not done yet. So that makes it. The other one stays on top. Because what's the power on the other one? 1. He's a 1 power, right? He's like, I'm happy. I'm a positive 1 power. I'm happy at this job. But the other one's like, this is a negative job. I'm jumping out of here. I'm jumping to the other side. So negative powers, if they start at the bottom and they're negative, they'll jump to the top and become positive. If they start at the top and they're negative, they'll jump to the bottom and become positive. Negative powers are negative. They're unhappy where they're at. They want to jump to the other side. Then they become happy afterwards. All right. Now, what do we do with this to finish up? When powers are vertical like that, what do we do with them? Subtract them. And how do you know where the answer ends up?
On the bigger one.
Bigger one. Bigger one's on the bottom here, huh? So 1 over x to the 5th. And the other side is just a 1. The x vanishes completely. So indeed, it is B, isn't it? Wasn't that B? Yeah, B. Yeah. Questions? Is that okay? All right, let's go on to number 2 then. Try number 2. Stop me if you have questions. Be making your 3x5 card if you don't already have it. We're adding to it as you need. You know, you get your 3x5 card today, Scantron. Some people don't have Scantrons. Feel free to share with your neighbors or charge an exorbitant fee, whatever your mood. Oh, no, but then they'll be vertical. So the only time we add is when they're side by side. So after all the jumping, that's side by side, we add
So then, okay,
You can tell because then before you could add 6 and that's the only one. 6.
Okay, that was my one question.
Yeah, so if they end up vertical, we subtract. They end up side by side, we add. All right, so they're both negative powers. They're both going to jump, right? They're both unhappy at their jobs. If one of them was positive, like say if that, what if I had x to the positive 8 over x? Let me just do a what if before I do this actual problem. What if just like one of them would, like the bottom one, say, was negative and the top one was positive? Well, then only he would jump. The top one would stay put, right?
Then you'd add them.
And then they'd be side by side. Yeah, then it'd be x to the 8th and x to the positive 5 side by side. If they end up side by side, we add them. That would be x to the 13th. Yeah. If they end up vertical after all the jumping, then we subtract them, right? So anyway, let's go back. That was just not the real question. But let's do the real one. So these guys are both unhappy at their jobs. So z to the positive 5 over z to the positive. They both jump. Now they're both happy. And they're vertical. So when they're vertical instead of side by side, we always have to subtract, right? We're going to subtract. Where's the answer going to end up? Top or bottom? Bottom, because the bigger one's on the bottom. Z to the 3rd and just a 1 on the top. So it's answer A. Yeah. Good? Questions I can answer? On to number 3 we go. Yes, yeah, all negative cards will be positive. So this one, what if negative, well, what if powers outside parentheses, what negative, positive, whatever. What if powers outside parentheses do? Multiply powers inside. So let me write that rule out. Yeah, so the rule they're hitting on here, the rule you need to know is powers outside parentheses multiply other powers inside parentheses, right? Remember, powers with powers. This is where I do the royalty with royalty thing, right? They don't interact with bases. So it's powers with other powers. So, in other words, let me write this a little bigger. B to the 5th over 4, negative 4. Now, this 4 has a 1 power. So that minus 4 is going to go there and there, huh? So it'll be b to the minus 20 over 4 to the minus 4. So far, so good. Everybody see what happened there? And then they're going to both jump because they're both negative. Was everybody good to that point? Everybody see what happened? Right? Powers outside parentheses multiply powers inside. A common mistake that students make is the screen will go blank. No. They will multiply the 4 and they'll get negative 16. They'll go, oh, 4 times 4. No. That's a base. That's beneath him. Right? That's why I did the royalty with royalty. Common folk with common folk, right? No politician's ever taken me to lunch, right? Because I'm not among the royalty of society. I'm just common, right? So, right? So, royalty with royalty, powers with powers, and bases with bases. No crossing the line, social strata or whatever, you know? That helps you remember it, you know? I'm just throwing stuff out there. So, right, so don't make that mistake, right? So the 4, the minus 4, multiplies the power. Powers with powers. All right, so then we get to here, and they're both negative. They both jump. So it's 4 to the 4th over b to the 20th. There's our answer. Do they have that answer?
No.
Oh, sometimes they want you to use your calculator and find out what that is. What is 4 times 4 times 4 times 4?
256.
Is it 256? Okay. So that's it could be either way. Is that what it is? I can't even see it anymore.
C.
Yeah, C. There it is. Yeah, it is C. Yeah, so yeah, if you don't see your answer there, then just use your calculator and get the number. Sometimes they leave it 4 to the 4th. Sometimes they make it the number. You know, it just depends. But you can use your calculator and get it if you need it, you know. So there it is. Questions on that one? Making sense? All good? Okay, I'm going to go to a fresh screen here. All right, let's try number 4 down there. I'm going to write it up here a little bigger. In fact, let me use a different color. So 16x plus 9x to the 7th minus 16x to the 4th minus negative 2x to the 4th 4x to the 7th. Next, here we go. All right. So, yeah, what do we do first on that one?
Distribute that.
Get rid of parentheses.
Yeah. And so what's going to happen when we get rid of parentheses?
Changes. It flips.
Now, yeah, that minus, that second thing is going to distribute, isn't it? Everybody good with that? Those parentheses are not right up against each other. It's not a big old foil, is it? It's just to distribute, though, just this minus sign. This minus sign is going to go boom, boom, boom. Is that right? That minus sign in the middle? It's going to hit those three. Everybody good with that? Right? Because anytime you have something up against a parenthesis, a number, a not minus sign, it distributes. Right? So what do we have then? That'll become plus 2x to the 4th minus 4x to the 7th plus 17x. Is that good? And there's nothing in front of the other parentheses, so you can just drop them. Good so far? So I just dropped the first parentheses, no change at all. Second parentheses, I distributed. Now combine like terms, right?
It could be B, but it's
Same powers with same powers.
you get 17.
And remember, we're adding, subtracting right now, so we don't mess with powers. No mess with, when do you mess with powers? When you multiply things. So we're just adding, subtracting, so don't mess with powers. So just have 16x And it doesn't matter. You whatever order. 16x and 17x. What's that? It doesn't matter. It's just multiple choice. Yeah, you just grab the one. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's probably what they always do. And these two, what's it? 9 minus 4 is 5. X to the 7th. And then these other two, what's that? Minus 14. X to the 4th. So which one did they do? Oh. That's always a little concerning, isn't it? Yeah, I guess it's E. None of the above. It is E every now and then. Just doing that to keep you honest. Otherwise, you would just, guess at one of the options every time. I got to make sure you're really doing these problems. So, is that good? Questions I can answer? That good? All right. All right, so try that one. So try 5, try 6. We'll try 5 first. Yeah, James. Yeah. No, they're unhappy, but after the jump, they're happy. Yeah. Yeah, so right. So the negative 15 one's going to... Is the y to the third going to go anywhere? No, he's happy where he's at. So remember, the negative powered ones, they're negative, they're unhappy where they're at. They're going to jump, and after the jump, they're happy. They're positive. Right? And only the negative ones are jumping. So basically, there's going to be nothing on the top. We always put a 1, right? Y to the third stays in the bottom, and then y to the 15th becomes regular or positive on the bottom. And so, is that good so far? So the y to the third just stayed put. The y to the minus 15 jumped down because negative powers always jump. And then they're positive after the jump. And now these guys are side by side instead of vertical. So what do we do when they're side by side? We add them, don't we? Y to the 18th. A. Is that good? So remember, after the jumping, if they're side by side, we add them. If they're vertical, we subtract them. That's after the jumping, though. First, you do the jumping. First, you let the negative powers jump, and you make everybody happy. You make all the negative people happy. You make all the negative powers jump to where they're positive. And then after all the jumping, then you look at them, and if they're vertical, you subtract. If they're side by side, you add. Questions on that one? That good? All right, try number 6. That's a power outside parentheses on number 6. We just talked about that, right? What do powers outside parentheses do? Multiply. Who does it multiply? The powers, huh? Only powers. Royalty and royalty, right? Powers and powers, right? Yeah. So basically, there's a 1 power on that 4. Here, let me just rewrite it bigger. And on the y, huh? So you got to put a 1 power in the 4, 1 power, because everybody really has a power, huh? If they're not showing their power, you put an invisible 1. Well, you put a visible 1. And then the 5 will multiply those powers, right? So it'd be minus 4 to the 5th, x to the 30th, y to the 5th. So where is it? D? Yeah. Minus 4 to the 5th, x to the 30th. Yep, there it is. D. Is that making sense? So powers outside parentheses multiply powers inside parentheses. No questions? Is that good? You sure? Please ask. I was just working with a student in my office hours this morning. She was telling me about another student in one of my other classes that has all these questions, is totally confused and never asks. I'm like, why not ask? I used to ask my teachers all the time. That's how you learn. So I'm glad to help. Please ask. Grab me after class. I'm paid to help. I'm glad to help. Please ask. Yeah.
Can you multiply that number 5 to 4? Like that number?
Oh, like that. Good question. Like that other one? Yeah. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they don't, huh? It like you're saying, shouldn't we go like this, right? Yeah, you're right. That's what it means. And sometimes they have you do that, and they put a big old number there, whatever that would be. And sometimes they just leave it with the power. If I was you, when I do these problems, I would just look at the way they did it and go, oh, looks like they're leaving the power, so I'll just leave the power. Just look ahead, because they have no set pattern. Sometimes they leave the. These are. I'm saying they. I'm getting these off the publisher's test bank online thing website. So yeah, sometimes they leave the power, sometimes they multiply them out.
Because if you did multiply that out, there's no you get none.
That's right. Yeah, and I mean it's the same answer. It's some big. What is it? I don't even know what that number is, but some giant number. And yeah, so they left them this way. Both are right. One's not more right than the other. They're equally right. So either one they have, grab it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good question. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the same either way. Yeah, good question. It's the same either way. It's okay. Good. Okay. So, oops, that's the wrong one. There it is. All right. All right, so let's try number 7 up there. I'll make it a little bigger. Minus 5x minus 11. X plus 3. That's just a big FOIL, isn't it? Those parentheses are right up against each other, so it's a big old multiply. Just FOIL that thing out. Okay, so we're going to FOIL, be minus 15x squared, minus 15x. So far, so good. I'm taking that minus 5x and multiplying 3x and 3. Right? Negative times positive is negative, and negative times positive is negative. He's done. And now I'll do the minus 11, and he'll go to both. Minus 33x. Minus 33. Is that good to there? So far? So at this point, the multiplying is over, the parentheses are gone, and now we just combine these two in the middle, huh?
Yeah.
Remember that kind of stuff? So it's at minus 48x. And there we go. Is that A? Yeah, looks like it's A, huh? Is that okay? Questions on that one? Give it all that FOIL and stuff? Questions? Okay. Let's try number 8 then. Oh, 8, same thing, just even uglier, huh? Yeah. All right, let's try number 8 here. So the 4x goes boom, 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 boom. So when you multiply, remember, out front numbers multiply powers at, don't they? Out front numbers multiply powers at. So Good for the first 4. Question, James?
Okay, when I'm pulling negative 5
Yeah, good.
over to negative 4x,
Right.
is that going to turn positive?
Perfect. Exactly. Because the 2 negatives will be positive. Exactly right.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Good to there so far. So I multiplied, 4 things and 4 things. Okay with all the signs? So yeah, so like James was saying, if the 2 negatives, multiply that's positive, right? 1 negative is just negative. All right, now we gather like terms. So 16x to the 4th. I guess there's no other x to the 4ths. All right, 12x cubed minus 20x cubed is minus 8x cubed. Good? And minus 16x squared minus 15 is minus 31x squared. I was doing the minus 16 and the minus 15 x squared. So if you lose $16 and you lose 15.
I thought you were going on to 16x 4. And I was like, wait, what? Okay, I got it.
And then the minus 8x and the plus 20 is plus 12x. And then we just had the plus 10, I guess, huh? There it is. Hopefully that's one of those answers. B as in boy? Yeah, looks like it. There it is. Good to there? Yeah, you add the powers. Yeah, so good question. So when we multiply these kind of things, we multiply numbers in front, add powers. Right? We're good with that? All right, let's go then to number 9. Fractions. Which can be challenging. So try that one. 2 fractions multiplied. Oh, I wrote it wrong. It's 1 plus 1 minus, huh? Yeah, there we go. 1 plus 1 minus. Okay. So try that one. So remember when like a whole number like 4 or 4x hits a fraction, the 4x goes to the top, doesn't it? Because it's 4x over 1.
We're talking about.
Or number 9. Yeah.
They do cancel it.
Wait, what?
It's just number 25.
I'll throw number 8. It was B, then it was B.
Good. So boom, boom. So 16x squared. Good so far. Out front numbers multiply. Powers add. So the 1 powers add. Now 4x times minus. That minus is on the 1/5, huh? Would be minus 4x over 5. Are we okay with that? See how the 4x goes to the top? Because, right, whenever a whole number hits a fraction, the whole number's over 1. It goes to the top. He's done. And now the plus 1/5 will go to both. Plus 4x over 5 minus 1/25. Everybody okay with that? Plus 1/5 times minus 1/5. You just multiply top with top. 1 times 1 is 1. Bottom with bottom. 5 times 5 is 25. And positive times negative is negative. And these guys are going to cancel, aren't they? So it's just 16x squared minus 1/25. It's A. Been a lot of A and B answers, hasn't it? Yeah, it's completely random. I just tell the computer to randomly shuffle it. So, questions on that one? Okay, good. No questions? You sure? You good? It's going to flash that off screen and get a new. All right, let's try 10. So we got to write 2 of them, right? Remember that? When you have a 2 on a parenthesis, you got to write 2 of them, and then it's just FOIL. First to both, second to both. Boom, boom. Four x squared minus 22xy. He's done.
No.
We good so far? First to both.
Nope.
Second to both. Minus 22xy plus 121y squared.
B.
Is that good? 11 times 11, 121. Use your calculator. That good so far? Now, these 2 in the middle, are they going to cancel?
No.
No, they're going to combine, because if you lose $22 and lose $22, you lost $44. What is that? Is it B? It's almost always A or B, isn't it?
B.
If in doubt, guess it A or B. Good? Questions on that? We good? Yeah.
I think I understand why, but can you please explain why the 121 squared when it is following the x squared should be the same order?
Oh, good question. Yeah, it's when you have 2 letters, like we have X and Y here, I know a lot of people have that question. It's a good one. When you have 2 letters, it's only descending order, or highest power lowest, for one of the letters. You can't do it for both. So in other words, it's right for X. X squared, this term is the highest X. This term in the middle is the next highest X. And this term is the lowest X. It has no X at all. So yeah, so it's just because you can't do both letters. There's no way to have both X and Y be the highest. So you just do it for one letter. So it's highest X, middle X, lowest X. So we just disregard Y. There it is. All right. Shall we do number 11, the big bad number 11? X plus Y plus 4 times X plus Y, Y minus 4. They're going to multiply. This is all multiplying, right? 4 times 4?
No. Positive 4 and negative 4.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it'll.
Get there.
Yeah.
Be there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's first to all 3, second to all 3, third to all 3, right? So it's going to be x squared plus xy minus 4x. And then the y's term plus xy plus y squared minus 4y. And then the 4. 4x plus 4y Minus 16 is a lot of terms. Is that good? So the first to all three, the second to all three, and the third to all three. 9 terms over there. Is that making sense? And then you just gather. Probably going to be a lot of canceling, right? X squared. XY and XY. What's that? What's XY and XY? Good. It's 2. You just add the invisible ones in the front. Remember, we don't add powers at this point because we're not multiplying. Now we're in adding mode, in which we just add numbers in the front. We don't mess with powers, right? Everybody good with that difference? The only time you add powers is when you're multiplying. Multiplying is over now, right? Minus 4x and plus 4x cancel. Minus 4y and plus 4y cancel. It doesn't matter what order you put this in. Y squared minus 16. Any order's fine. Don't worry about the order, guys. Is it C? Yeah. They just have it in a different order. Yep, it's C. Yeah, don't let the order bother you. Any order is fine on these. Yeah, as long as all the pieces match, doesn't matter what order they're in. Yeah, don't grab E just because the order thing. Yeah, so on the test today, don't worry about the order on any of them. As long as they have all the same pieces, grab that answer. Good on that one? Questions? Yeah. All right, number 12. Yeah, do you know how to do number 12? Try number 12 there. Do you know you make it 3 separate divisions like that? 3 separate divisions. Right? So it's just, you know what it's like? It's just like something in the front multiplies all 3, so something underneath divides all 3. It's like distribution for dividing. So then just do 3 separate divisions. 9 goes into 90 10 times. 9 goes into 18 2 times, and the other one just stays 1/9. Is it B? There it is. Good? Are we happy? Okay, now, 13 is the one I never showed you about. Remember, we ran out of time that day. I said there'd be 1 on the test. I give 4 points extra credit anyway. You can still get 100% even with missing 1 question. So let's don't sweat it a lot. But we got a minute here. Let me show you. Basically, when there's 2 terms, 2 or more terms on the bottom in the denominator, you must do long division. Yeah. Remember, I skipped it because we ran out of time that one day, and I wanted to spend more time on factoring because that's what really matters. You'll never see one of these again. It's today and only today. It won't be on the final. Won't be in the next math class. They don't do long division. So it's not important, but I will show you how to do it right now. But I'll tell you, it's messy. I'm not going to spend a lot of time again. Come to office hours. I'd be glad to spend more time. But here's what you got to make it a long division problem. Bottom into the top. Why? Because there's more than 1 term on the bottom. When you've got more than 1 term, 2 or more terms on the bottom, you got to make a long division. Now, how do you do long division? Well, has it been a while since you've done long? We always use the calculators. Remember how, what if you did 23 into 467? What would you do? How would you just think about numbers? What would you do to long divide numbers? Yeah, you would just say, look, 2 goes into 4 2 times, huh?
Well, no, that's not. 23 goes into 46.
Sure. Well, that's not true. All right. Right? 23 into 475. 23 doesn't go into 47, but you would still do 2. Right? So really you're just looking at this 2, aren't you? You're just saying, look, 2 goes into 2 times 23. And what would you do? You'd multiply both those and you'd get 46, right? And then you would subtract. So let's do the same thing down here. Right? Well, what same thing? What did I just do? I looked at the front and I looked at the front. I said, what can I put up here times this that'll match that? Isn't that what I did? What times this matches that, right? So what times x squared makes x to the fourth?
X squared.
Yeah, x to the second. Like that. So x goes boom, boom. Actually goes and it multiplies both of them, just like this 2 went boom, boom. 2 times 2 made 4. 2 times 3 made 6, right? So what you put up here goes both. So x times x squared times x squared, x to the fourth. X squared times 1, x squared. Good there. See what I did? Whatever you write on the top multiplies both the guys on the right side, huh? Is that good? And then subtract. Right? Is that what we did over here? We subtract. We get 1 and bring down the 5, right? Subtract. 6x squared, take away 1x squared is 5x squared, and then just bring down the 9. Good to there? See what I'm doing?
Yep.
Is that making sense? Question?
Simple.
I subtracted them. I'm subtracting.
Squared and x6 squared?
No, just numbers in the front. We don't mess with powers, remember? Remember, when we're adding and subtracting, we just do the numbers in the front. We don't mess with powers. So it's just, right? Think about if somebody gave it sideways. If somebody said 6x squared minus 1x squared, what would you do? Yeah. So it's the same thing vertical as it is sideways. Make sense? Okay, now, is that good for that first step? Everybody see what I did there? Am I losing you? Questions I can answer to there? Now we have one more line. We'd have to put something else up here times the front that'll match down here. Right? Just like, now 15 is not going to do it, but what if I had like 45 down here, or 49 or whatever? Next I would put another 2, wouldn't I? Right? If it goes in again, you do it again. So what can I put up here? Times x squared, that'll make 5x squared. 5, exactly. So the next step is 5. Plus 5. That plus 5 will go to both. 5x squared plus 5. Does that make sense? Subtract 4, that's your remainder. Everybody see what happened there? So the answer then, what is the answer? The answer is right up here. This is the answer. X squared plus 5 plus, now what do you do with the remainder? Over the left. This. It's the remainder. Remainder goes over the left. The 4 is down here. It's the remainder. When I subtracted, down here when I subtracted, 5x squared minus 5x squared is got 9 minus 5. Right, you're subtracting. Remember, whenever you do long division, you multiply and then you subtract, right? Subtract. So, is it there? Is it this one? B again. It's always A or B. Almost.
If you can't go anywhere.
So there it is. If you can do that in today's test, you'll get like extra credit, basically. Because you can get 100% without it. Or 99 or 100 or something like that. So, that good? That makes sense? Sort of? I know I only did one of them with you.
Is there any other way to do it?
No, you got to do long division. Yeah. So how are you going to recognize it on today's test? Like, how do you know when you're supposed to do this long division?
Look at the bottom.
No, the other one said divide also. I didn't do long division on this one. So when there's 2 terms on the bottom,
Basically,
2 or more terms, you got to do long division. Yeah. See, the other divide, I just put the 9 underneath everybody. I didn't do long division. Right? So it's only when there's more than 1 term on the bottom.
You add it over here.
All right. Well, we need. All right. So try number 14, factor. And I'll look down at the options to kind of help you out. This is where it's really helpful to look at the multiple choice options. Take a look at them. It kind of guides you into your factor. We're doing okay?
Not D. No.
So as you look at those two, you want to put something in the front of the parentheses. What do you think it's going to be? Look at what they're factoring in. Look at C and D there. They're taking out a 3, right? And that makes sense. 3 goes into 3 and 27. And then what? How do you know what powers on the X and the Y to take out?
The highest.
The lowest, wasn't it?
The highest.
The lowest.
Which is the lowest of the two, right? That is, yeah. So x squared, just x squared. Y7, y6, take out y's. You always take the lower power because that's the most they have in common. That makes sense? Somebody has 6 coins and somebody has 7 coins. They both have 6 in common. The lower number is the most they have in common. Right? Now, how do you know what goes on the inside? You got to multiply and multiply and make it work. So 3x squared y to the 6 times what will go back to this? Just a y. That makes sense? And this needs a 9. So that answer, is it there? No, it's not. Careful, look close.
6 and 2 is the
None of the above.
Because if you use that X over there,
you got fooled.
D, they've swapped the powers on the X and the Y. They're trying to fool you. They put the 6 on the X and the 2 on the Y. Ah, you got to pay close attention.
Is that what it be like that on the test?
Yeah, I'm sure. I just got these up from publishers to test banks. Same thing when I do the test. Just random. This is what they're doing. So they're close. So that was a none of the above. Good, is that okay? Does that make sense? Let's try number 15. Yeah, I can't even read it. Let me see.
None of the above.
So 15. X cubed minus 8x squared minus 5x plus 40. So when they say factor by grouping, do you remember what grouping is?
Yeah, they comment.
You're gonna have two parentheses that are exactly the same.
No.
Yes. Yeah. The 2-2 split, right? The 2 different groups, the first two, last two. Remember that whole thing? They're helping you out by telling you grouping. So it's first 2, last 2. You got all that you need on your 3x5 card?
They don't have it. They have 3 by
Add to it or make it right now if you need it.
E, imagine you get 100.
I'm gonna get 100. That's my thought process.
So what do the first two have in common?
X squared.
You take the lower of the two pairs. You got x to the third and x to the second. The lower one's x second. What does that leave on the inside?
X minus 8.
X minus 8.
Because if you multiplied, that would go back to x cubed and minus 8x squared, right?
Minus 5x.
Good for those two.
Plus,
And then the back two, bring down the minus. What goes into 5 and 40? 5. And remember what the parentheses, they're going to be the same automatically. Remember how they always match? So I know it's going to be x minus 8. You can double check it to make sure. Minus 5 times x is minus 5x. Minus times minus is plus 40.
you got the horse.
You got the horse.
Yeah, that's right. We can't have the loose horse here. So what do we do?
X minus 8.
You remember, you take the x minus 8, put it in the front, remove it, remove them both, and you start a new set, and you bring down the leftover. X squared minus 5. Done.
None of the above.
Is that answer even there?
No.
It's another none of the above.
I mean, they're big, but
Got to be confident. Like, I know what I'm doing. Unless I'm wrong. Is that good? Does that make sense how I did that? You guys okay with that?
it was easy.
Right? So I did first two, last two, right? I took out what was in color from just the first two, what's in color from last two. The parentheses always match. And when they do, you cross them both off, put one in the front. These are gone. Bring down the x squared minus 5. Is that good? All right, let's keep going. Time is a-running. All right, try 16. Number 16 there, so 2x cubed plus 2x squared minus 24x. Look at the multiple choice options as you go. Notice what they've done. Oh, prime means not factorable. Yeah, I never mentioned that, did I? Prime is a phrase that means not factorable. So if it just can't be done, it's not factorable, then you would grab prime. Prime means not factorable.
Yeah, I like the one that
So does it see?
that it fits prime, but it doesn't give you factor simplicity of the polynomial is prime status.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have a prime at all.
So that's going to be what we state. Try this one. Okay, so what do all three, look over here at the options. See what they're pulling out in front there? See the options that I circled? See what they're taking out in the very front? 2 and x. So let that help you today on today's test that we take here in just a couple minutes. Look at that and go, oh, probably I need to put like a 2x in the front.
Probably.
You know? And remember, you do the one big parenthesis first, and then on the next line you do the 2, huh? You don't go straight to the 2 parentheses, remember? That's really important. I've noticed a lot of students over the years get really messed up because they just look at the answer and they think they should be able to go straight to what the answer looks like. No, no, no. You've got to do the one. When there's something in common, something in the front, you got to do the one big parenthesis first and then the 2, huh? Remember that? All right, so how do you know what goes in the one big parenthesis? Well, whatever works. 2x times what would go back to 2x cubed? X squared. 2x times what would go back to the middle one? Plus 2x, and 2x times minus 12 would go back to that. Oh, you're right, I'm messing up. Thank you. Just regular x, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks. Good?
Yeah.
Now, we can use this and we can do remember the multiply and add in the middle? Right, put the x's in the front and say, okay, what times what multiplies to be 12?
3 and 4.
3 and 4 or 2 and 6. What do they have to add to be? What number's in the middle? Positive 1. Now remember how the signs go? Yeah, the sign that's in the middle is really important. It'll help you a lot today's test. The sign in the middle always goes on the bigger. Remember, sign in the middle goes to the bigger. So plus in the middle goes on the bigger, the 4. And the minus 3. It doesn't matter what order. You could switch the order, but the 4 has to be positive wherever he's at. And the 3 has to be negative. So, is that one of our answers?
Yeah.
Looks like it's C. Is that good? Try 17. Here, let me yeah, let's start with 19. Let's do 19 first, then we'll do 20. So try 19.
What's the go by right now?
1, 4. 3, 1.
Question?
Yeah.
Without these guys come. These guys
So,
would be
is
another
it
4.
only when we have the trinomial that the middle sign is
We're above, no?
Or is it
Yes, just you're right. Just on the 3 terms. Yeah.
We're above
Yeah.
PSG, aren't we?
Yeah, easy way to remember that when you have 3, you have the middle. So, it's the middle rule for what
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Good. Good.
It's bad.
Try this one. Hey, look down at the answers. Before you dive in too far, look down at the answers. And look, what do you see they put in the front there?
Oh, I forgot yellow.
I mainly mean just look at the fronts. Not like the whole thing. But look at the fronts, guys, on number 19. Look at the fronts. What do you see that they did on 2 of them in the front?
They put that four.
They put a 4 in the front.
Is that wrong? Oh yeah, it's wrong.
Let that suggest to you
Yeah, four.
that probably the first thing you should do on this problem is take out 4.
So it looks all wrong, right?
It's easy to take that step.
Since there's no 4x.
That's what you see. Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no x on the both words.
Yeah, so probably you first need to do a 4.
4 doesn't go into all.
Probably the answer is going to either be A or D. See how easy these tests are? You can already tell. It's either A or D.
So what is it?
Remember that either?
Well,
It might be E though. There's always that E thing. That's right. I gotta keep you honest. Otherwise you could just go A, D, no problem.
When you read the
Sure.
You almost got it.
Before.
So you see what I'm saying? So you see that 4 and you go, okay. But you gotta do the one big principle with the 4 before you do the 2, huh? Right? You with me? So as soon as you see that 4, do the 4 with the one big principle.
Which would be 3x.
Okay, so what does that leave in the inside? 3x squared minus what? 13? X minus 10. Yeah, how I'm getting those guys is I'm just dividing by 4. Just divide by 4. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. Right? Because whenever you put a 4 in the front, that means you're dividing all the other numbers by that 4. Right? In other words, that 4 could multiply back. Like that. That good? Now one more step. Now you got to do the FOIL thing.
D.
No.
Wait.
You can't.
Oh no.
Right? Remember FOIL? F O I L.
That's 2, 15.
Right? These are the harder kind now. These are the harder kind of factor. Remember these? Front times front to be front. What times what makes 3x squared?
3x and x.
3x and x. Good so far? Now the order in the first 2 doesn't matter. You can put x, 3x, or 3x and then x, whatever. But then last times last to make less. What times what makes 10? 5 and 2. 5. So I'll put 5 here and 2 there. But it turns out it's the other order.
Yeah.
How do I know?
You can figure it, and if it doesn't work, you just.
That's it. You figure it, and if it doesn't work, you switch it. Exactly. Yeah, so what do we mean by figure it? How do I figure out if it's right?
You can add
You can FOIL the whole thing if you want. I'm just going to do the whoops, can't get that. The O and the I right here. Right? Remember the inner, outer. That's what OI stands for. The 2 inner is 5x. The 2 outer is 6x. Right? See what I did there? 5 times x and 3x times 2 makes 6x. And then I asked myself, can 5x and 6x make the middle, which is negative 13x? No, 5 and 6 make 11. Or if you subtract them, they make 1. They're not going to make 13. So then you go, oh, I need to switch them. So I put the 2 here and the 5 there. Try again. See what I get. Second try. The 2 inner now make 2x. The 2 outer now make 15x. Can they make minus 13? Yeah. If you make the 15 negative and the 2 positive, huh? Plus 2. You gain $2 and lose 15. You lost 13. Does that make sense? So this, remember this sign goes straight up. The other one goes to the back. Remember how the signs always work? You okay with the final sign action there? Right? Remember the sign in the middle goes on the bigger, doesn't it? Right? The sign in the middle is negative, the bigger one's negative. And this sign right here always floats up, just straight up. Just blah, 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 straight up. It bubbles up, straight up. The bottom goes to the back. Bottom down.
That's you wrong.
Every time.
You're partially wrong.
And so is that answer there?
Yeah.
X minus 5. You want to take the test? Let's see. Should we do any more? No. You don't like these? Full hour. Whoops, I'm trying to roll the screen. All right, let's try 25. So factor x to the fourth minus 81.
Oh, 25.
Then we'll take our test.
Oh, it is. It's on 23. X to the fourth.
So what technique should you use on that one? So for 4 terms we do grouping, 2, 2. For 3 terms we do FOIL. For 2 terms we do what? What we've been talking about. What we talked about Monday. FL. Remember when there's 2 terms, the oi is missing in the word FOIL. It's just front and last. These are easy. These are your favorite kind, right? This is the easiest kind. So remember the rule, if there's 2 terms, you just do FL. There'll be like 2 or 3 of these on the test today. FL, okay? So it's like an easy FOIL. It's like the hard part, the middle is missing, huh? If there's just 2 terms, the 3rd term, the middle one's missing, it's just FL. So that just means front times front to make front.
Oh, and the positive 6 and then the negative is
Yes, it's coming back. So front times front. What times what's x to the fourth? x2, because powers add, right? And then last times last to be 81. What times what's 81? 9 and 9. Now, what signs do you need to make negative 81?
Positive and negative.
1 positive, 1 negative. Now, I can't stop there. That's not the answer yet.
You gotta break the negative.
What is this? What is the... So we're going to do this here. What is x squared plus 9 going to do?
The same.
Nothing. I hope you know. Plus in the middle does nothing. But the minus, this one's going to break into 2 again. Right? X is in the front, 3 is in the back. 1 plus 1 minus. There's our answer.
G.
That makes sense. What number is that? Is it C?
Yes, sir.
C, huh? We good? Sounds good, James. We good? Are we happy? Questions on that? You going to ace this exam?
Probably.
Maybe.
Remember, you guys are my record-breaking